Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe.
We are continuing with Manah Siksha, teaching number 3. Although Srila Raghunath Das was placed in the care of Shri Swarup Damodar, his greatest shelter, by Lord Chaitanya himself, and although he was fully devoted to the lotus feet of his life-givers, Shri Rupa and Sanatana and their associates, devotion is by nature insatiable. So he still instructs his mind to always offer obeisances to them and to remember them, and at the same time he gives a valuable instruction to those who aspire for Raganuga Bhakti today. He Manah Shravana Karo, O mind, listen. If you want to live in Vrajapura with love and serve Shri Radha Govinda Dev and their girlfriends in the bowers, then remember and offer obeisances to Shri Swarup Damodar.
Swarup Damodar is always coming, means remember to Lalita. Because he is associate of Swarup Damodar of Mahaprabhu, and Radha Rani close Sati is Lalita. Hidden way is mentioned here. All books are mentioned like this. Without mercy of Lalita, it's not possible to be close with Radhika. And without Swarup Damodar mercy, not easy to close with Mahaprabhu.
Then remember and offer obeisances to Shri Swarupa Damodar, who is none different from Lord Chaitanya, who is the crown jewel of speakers on the transcendental mellows of Vrajalila, and with whom Shri Gauranga intimately associated in his room named Gambira.
Why Swarup Damodar? Radhika can associate to Lalita. There is no problem to talk to Radhika with her friend Lalita. So Gambira is the very confidential place for Mahaprabhu. In the power of Radhika, he is talking with Swarup Damodar like us.
Relishing the nectar of Krishna's Vraja pastimes, O mind, always stick to his lotus feet by remembering him. By doing so, you will understand the emotions and taste the mellows of Shri Radha's service.
Emotions and taste like that can give us. Because Laita is very close to Radha, and Swarup Damodar is very close to Mahaprabhu.
Shri Sanatana and Rupa are wells full of the rasa of devotion.
Sanatana, always I say, is rasa come with the relationship, and Sanatana is giving sambandha gyan, and Rupa is giving avideha gyan. to how to be detached with the material body to be in a spiritual body. Srila. And Sarup Damodar Lalita is creating interest for that because she is giving that mellow sweetness and she guides to Radha and the Dasi who want to serve to Radhika how to be in that flow and the feelings and service mode and Rupa Goswami in a form of Rupa Mandir. So these are our Mahajans of association for the practice in Malo of Prajarata.
Srila Sanatana and Rupa are wells full of the rasa of devotion, and they are the Mahajanas of Vrindavana.
They are the Mahaj in Gauriya.
O mind, carry a straw between your teeth, offer obeisances unto them, and pray to them for service in the kunjas. They are both very merciful, and they will give you a place at their feet, blessing you by making you drink handful after handful of the elevated erotic rasa. This is the end of teaching number 3.
Oh my mind. We have to understand it. So my friend mind, if you want this, if the desire for this, you have to follow in the way of sambandha and avidya. Relation is important in the lotus feet of Radharani and to detach from your material body for the identifying your spiritual body is very important to serve always to Radhika.
So Gurudev, one question. Who is the main teacher of the new Manjari? Is it Guru Manjari? Or is it Rupa Manjari? Lalita?
The teacher is a Guru Manjari, but Guru Manjari is living with this Mahajans. And Guru Manjari say, you also do this also. So, Mahajan Jata Sapanta, what the Mahajan do, I have to do the same thing. It's more easy for me. What my Gurudev do, that way I have to watch it, to catch his hand. And he do like this. So he was fixing his seva. He was in a time of without a God. So if I want my time God, I have to do so. But this Guru Manjari is doing, and he is following like that. cannot leave our Guru Mandir. But what Guru Mandir get the success, we have to follow same. Guru Mandir also is following to Sarup Damodar and Vrindavan service like that. And Rupa Mandiri and Sanatan Rupa. For the Sambandha, Avideha. And he is living in that mood of Prayojan, like Raghunath Das. How to live peacefully in bhajan. That is Raghunath Das. He is doing and he is telling to follow that. Mahajan Gata Kitam. Please.
Manah Siksha, teaching number 4. O mind, give up the prostitute of speaking and hearing nonsense, which will rob you of the treasure of your heart. Don't listen to the words of the tigers of liberation, which swallows your whole individuality. And also, give up your love for the Lord of Lakshmi, Narayan, for that will take you to the majestic realm of Vaikuntha. Instead, worship Radha and Krishna in Vraja, the givers of the jewels of love for themselves. O mind, give up the prostitute of speaking and hearing nonsense, which will rob you of the treasure of your heart. Do not listen to the words of the tigers of liberation, which swallows your whole individuality. And also, give up your love for the Lord of Lakshmi, for that will take you to the majestic realm of Vaikuntha. Instead, worship Radha and Krishna in Vraja, the givers of the jewels of love for themselves. Now, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami begins to describe the powerful obstacles to bhajan and to give very valuable instructions about the life of sadhana in his Manah Siksha, on the pretext of instructing his own mind. In Vedic culture, instructions come in the form of do's and don'ts, and the don'ts are mentioned first. O mind, give up your association with the prostitute called Asadvartra, unreal topics, for she will take everything away from your consciousness. Except for topics of Radha and Krishna, every topic is unreal. Our hearts are contaminated by desires for enjoyment of dead matter and fruitive results. And it is very difficult to wash that contamination off on one's own strength, since the individual soul has only very limited power. The senses are very powerful, independent, and fixed on their material objects. And without the mercy of the Lord, who makes the devotee relish his own sweetness, no one can become free from their control on his own strength. The devotee should nevertheless do his best to fix his mind on Radha and Krishna and withdraw it from everything else. Sriman Mahaprabhu personally told to Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Gramya Katha na shunibe, Gramya Varta na pohibe. Don't speak about village topics, and don't hear any village topics. Gramya Varta means topics on other subject matters other than God. Both hearing and speaking nonsense will disturb the mind and will obstruct spiritual progress. Some people think that Gramya Katha means only speaking about women. But Srila Sridhara Swami writes in his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, village religion, Gramya Dharma, consists of religiosity, economic development, and sense enjoyment. Hence, Gramya Varta should be understood as any topic not related to Radha and Krishna. Sat means that which is real in all three phases of time, past, present, and future. Asat is exactly the opposite of that. All temporary creations of Maya are asat, and hearing or speaking about asat topics must be given up, for they take away everything from the discriminating intelligence. Sri Jiva Goswami writes at the end of his Lagu Tosani commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam that the God consciousness of a devotee who attains the association of great devotees is called the seed of Rati. Discussion of nonsense topics destroys this seed of Rati, which is the all in all of the consciousness. And in this way, the vine of devotion, which was planted by the grace of Guru and Vaishnava, cannot grow in the devotee's heart. Just as a seemingly sweet and beautiful looking prostitute takes away a man's wealth, beauty, and reputation, so too the prostitute of Asadvarta takes away the mati, or discriminating intelligence, from the living being. Those who always speak and hear nonsense will think more and more about those subjects and less about Radha and Krishna, until the whole consciousness has been taken over by nonsense thoughts, not allowing any thoughts of Radha and Krishna to enter anymore. Especially a renunciant should be cautious that he does not fall from his vow by being callous and allowing his mind to become absorbed in bodily consciousness. Devotion is pure when it has only the pure motivation to satisfy the Lord. Devotion becomes superficial when it has other purposes. The worst kind of asadvarta is hearing and speaking about other people's faults. Lord Chaitanya said in Chaitanya Bhagavat, a drunkard can be redeemed at any time, but the destination of someone who slanders others is never good. A drunkard can be redeemed at any time, but the destination of someone who slanders, criticizes others is never good. The slanderer, the one who is criticizing, always sees other people's faults in front of him, and he gets more and more taste for speaking about them. So his mouth gradually becomes very coarse. As a result, the saintly attitude will disappear from his heart and make place for an unsaintly attitude to sit down there. This is why hearing and speaking nonsense has been compared to a prostitute. One may ask, well, if the three goals of human life, namely religiosity, economic development, and sense enjoyment are rejectable, then we can hear about the fourth goal, liberation. But Srila Raghunath Das Goswami says here, do also not listen to the tigers called liberation, who swallows your whole Atma. Just as a tiger devours the whole body, talks about liberation, devour the body, mind, intelligence, and the individual soul. It says here, Atma means body, mind, intelligence, life, nature, and ego. This is in the notes. Atma, do not listen to the tigress called liberation, who swallows your whole Atma. And here Atma means body, mind, intelligence, life, nature, and ego. The individual soul is an eternal servant of Krishna, and thus the four goals of human life, religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, are all forms of deceit. Amongst them, liberation is the greatest form of deceit, for it makes the fortune of Krishna battle vanish forever. Chaitanya Charitamrita. The soul is an eternal servant of God, and when it desires its own sensual happiness, the soul is cheating. This cheating goes on under the names of Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. A person who desires liberation has become so blinded by desires for personal happiness that in his desires to become free from the suffering of birth, death, and the three kinds of material miseries, he also destroys his servant-master relationship with God forever. Shri Krishna is my master, and I am his servant, being an individual living entity. This feeling of relationship is called bhakti, or devotion, and can be awakened by the grace of a saint, as long as the living entity is still engrossed in Dharma, Artha, or Kama. But when the desire for liberation awakens, and one merges with God, the servant-master relationship disappears forever, and there is no more possibility of any exchange of love. This is opposed to the servant consciousness, and is therefore the major kind of deceit. Just as one becomes afraid of hearing the word tigress, so a pure devotee also becomes afraid of hearing the word liberation. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, "When I hear the word liberation, my mind feels hatred and fear. But when I hear the word devotion, my mind becomes very happy. Therefore, it has been forbidden to listen to the words of a tigress named Mukti, which swallows one's entire self. And if any reverential worshipping devotee then says, 'O Goswami, I understand. You have given up everything, desiring devotion to the Lord Vaikuntha, Sri Narayana.' Then Srila Raghunadas Goswami says, 'Also give up your reverential devotion for Sri Lakshmi Narayana, which leads you to Vaikuntha. Reverential devotion decreases the possibility to love Krishna spontaneously. Therefore, those who want a pure loving relationship with the Lord do not desire such a respectful worship. The nature of Kevala, or pure and sweet devotion, is that the devotee may see Krishna's prowess, but he does not heed it. For knowledge of Krishna's prowess will cause his spontaneous love to shrink. The devotees, whose love is mixed with awe and reverence, cannot love the Lord like this. Shri Krishna says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the whole world is pervaded by awareness of my prowess and majesty, but such weakened love does not please me. I am not subdued by the devotion of someone who considers me to be the Supreme Lord and thinks of himself as low and inferior. I am subdued in all respects by the love of anyone who is purely devoted to me, thinking he is my son, he is my friend, or he is my lover, and who thinks that he is greater or equal to me. Srimad Sanatana Goswami wrote in his Brihad Bhagavatamrita that when Shri Gopa Kumar, who had a relationship of pure friendship with Krishna in Vraja, came to Vaikuntha Loka, he could not become happy, even by seeing Lord Narayana, due to his vastly majestic appearance. One day, the Lord Narayana, who fulfills all the desires of his devotees, appeared before Gopa Kumar in the form of Krishna, the son of Nanda. The goddess of fortune then became Shri Radha. Dhara Devi became Chandravali, and all the devotees of Vaikuntha became cowherd boys. But because the whole display took place in the majestic surroundings of Vaikuntha, it could not please Gopakumar, not even when Lord Narayana imitated Krishna's pastimes of tending the cows in one of Vaikuntha Loka's gardens. Shri Gopakumar himself said, "Still, I consider him to be the Supreme Lord, and I remember that I had come to Vaikuntha Loka. The reverential feelings which arose in my heart at that time hampered my sweet love, and thus my mind could not feel satisfied." Vaikuntha Loka, or the Parvyoma, is a place filled with such Aishwarya, so much so that if Shri Narayana assumes the form of Shri Vajajendra Nandana there to fulfill the special desires of his devotees, and even performs his pastimes there, still the Aishwarya Buddhi cannot disappear there on the strength of the location. With this in mind, Shri Raghunath has used the words Vyoma Nayanim. Of all the Bhavas of Vraja, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas again practice the greatest one, known as Gopi Bhav. Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna, the original personality of Godhead, steals Lakshmi's mind, but Narayana cannot steal the Gopika's minds. What to speak of Narayana? Shri Krishna himself even became Narayana to make the Gopikas laugh. Although Krishna assumed Lord Vishnu's four-armed form, the Gopikas did not feel any attraction to it. The mood of the Gopis is based on the firm determination that they will not have anyone else but Krishna, the Prince of Vraja. If Krishna assumes any other form than that of a flute-playing Shyama Sundara, with his threefold bending form, his peacock feather crest, his gunja bead ornamentation, and his cowherder's dress, the gopis will not go to him. Finally, Shri Raghunadasa says, Vraje Radha Krishna Usvarati Manidau Tvam Bhajamana. O mind, just worship Radha and Krishna and Vraja, which are the bestowers of the jewel of love for themselves. Radha and Krishna will give the sweetest possible love for their lotus feet, the love of the maidservants of Shri Radha, to those who worship their lotus feet, and thus bless the devotees. This is the crown jewel of all kinds of love of God, and it is most pure, just like gold, molten 100,000 times. Shri Narottam Thakur Mahashaya sings in his Prema Bhakti Chantika, meditate on Radha Krishna and do not speak of anything else but them, even in your dreams. Do not desire anything else but Prema. The Prema of the Yugala Kishore is like a gold, molten 100,000 times. Meditate on the rasa of their deep attachment and love. The duty of Prema is to bless the loving devotee with the sweet savor of the Ishtadev. This Prema will immerse the worshipper of Radha and Krishna in an ocean of bliss by making him relish their endless sweetness. Shri Radhika's complexion resembles a golden ketaki flower, and Shyama Sundara's complexion crushes the pride of an emerald gem. She is the queen of dancers, and he is the crown jewel of dancers, and their minds are absorbed in each other's qualities. Their beautiful faces shine with golden and bluish luster, and are furthermore beautified with ornaments of ecstatic love. Gauri, Radhika, wears an enchanting blue sari, and Mohana wears a yellow dhoti. In this way, they reveal their innermost desires for each other. There are innumerable sweet forms of God, eternally manifested in the spiritual kingdom, and different devotees describe them in different ways, according to their own mood. But the intelligent devotees may ask, which form of God is more sweetly described than the one of Shri Krishna? There is no comparison to the sweetness of the divine couple. There is no comparison to the love of the Yugala Kishore. Shri Raghunath therefore says, O mind, humbly pray, always leave the prostitute of hearing and speaking nonsense, who secretly steals everything from your consciousness and turns you into a beggar. Never lend an ear to the talks of the tigress named Liberation. When you fall into her mouth, you will be swallowed with your whole body. She never has any mercy. Simply by hearing about liberation, incidentally, or by desiring Sayujya Mukti, you will be devoured by her, torn apart by her, along with the identification of I am Radha and Krishna's eternal servant. Do not be attached to devotion for Lakshmi and Narayana, and do not accept their blessings, but lovingly worship the priceless treasure of Radha's and Krishna's lotus feet in Vraja. They are glorified by all the three worlds as being very merciful, and if any fortunate soul worships them, then they will give that person the great jewel consisting of pure love of Vraja, which is compared to gold taken from the Jambu river. Thus ends the teaching number 4.
Yeah. From Kirtan.
Good. I have many questions to this.
Yeah.
I start with the first one. And this is actually what we hear now is something like a challenge. It's something which is very deep and nearly impossible to practice. Because if you hear about Pramya Katha, what was mentioned here about that nonsense talks, for example, this is more than difficult in India, especially in an environment like this also, and impossible. For me, I think it's impossible in the West. Because when we do some work there, when we have to, whatever occupation we might have, there is always Ramya Katha. There's never, this is impossible. We only can speak about Radha and Mohan. So my first question is, how we can avoid this? Like we said here, I mean, if we really honest to ourselves and go very deep in ourselves and reflect ourselves in these words, there we need really an advice. Because there's this, you hear maybe the news, you hear about the coronavirus, which is a nonsense too, and all these things, but how can we really concentrate one-pointed on Radha Mohan without making compromises?
What I see inside you, you are practicing. I never see any comments from your mouth for anyone. So what I see, you are very seriously practicing this. So I feel very fortunate of your association. But you are right also. Everybody wants to discuss useless topic, and our nature also to discuss useless things. But we have to try. These are the clutch of liberation I want to touch, not Radha Krishna. If we have no faith, it's just like a prostitute. We are trying to do something what is impossible. Nobody can get the comforts in material talks, but we are trying to relish that. But I see inside you, you are the great example for it. It's very special thing to do that. How much we will avoid. And that Manah is very required. We will be more and more faster successful in our life for one point. And also mention about the Lakshmi Narayan, no worship or other God, demigod, because that is also not sincerity is there, one-pointedness is there. So we have to be one-pointedness. They have no one-pointedness. They enjoy to relish this type of things. But we have to avoid to involve ourselves there. We have to careful. As a sadhak, as a doer for the spiritual development, we have to careful with these things. If only I can recommend that we have to watchful and careful to the mind that we don't do this mistake. Once the mistake happened, we have to say to the mind, not go again in this. And try to request to the mind, don't repeat it, not repeat it. And slowly it will change. Difficult. If this change, our nature will change. But we have to try it. Like we do bhajan, we don't like to do chanting, but we try and try. One day happened that we like to do that. So similarly, we have to try this. Not to talk bad about others, not think for others. We have to avoid useless thinking and talking about others. That will help us. Right? We have to teach to our mind. Is the teaching of mind and practicing things. Sri Ram. Yeah. Radhe.
Por ejemplo, la liberación, por ejemplo, a veces le gritan a uno diferentes pajaritos y resulta que es esa liberación que tenemos que vivir.
How we can avoid to be confused about liberation, because some liberation is disguised as something attractive. For many people like to get liberation. Then how we can understand how even liberation can be disguised of other things, and don't come into this, because it's very dangerous to avoid the
What? To avoid the liberation. Huh?
Because liberation also is disguised in other things. Disguise. That you don't see that it's liberation, but finally it's liberation. It's not. Lose the identity.
Liberation is this, is taboo thing.
La liberación es divorciarse.
Taboos. I want to live and I want to find out other.
Yo quiero divorciar para salir.
I want to liberate with my boyfriend.
Yo quiero liberarme del novio que tengo para salir.
That is liberation.
Eso es liberación.
If there is honest, sincere love, how you will want liberation from your love? Love cannot make you to liberate. But material desire is there, and the lover is not fulfilling your material desire. For sense desire is not satisfied with my lover, then what we want to change for sense enjoyment. That is pursuit, huh? So this is liberation, is like a prostitute. Because my material desire is so heavy that we want to change this. I am not satisfied with this exchange of love. Right? Clear?
Yes, clear.
Gurudev, en todas las relaciones es complejo el intercambio de las relaciones.
In all relation, there is also complex the exchange of relation between everybody.
Con respecto a lo que es la energía femenina, uno no quisiera cambiar pareja o algo, pero realmente es muy difícil sostener cuando uno quiera avanzar espiritual, cuando hay que hacer diferentes situaciones que la misma vida tiene que hacer, como decir, hasta ir a comprar el prashad de Radha. y esa pareja no se presta
Okay, she said that
todo el tiempo. Empujar, hacer, también como estamos aprendiendo uno se agota. Entonces, ¿cómo hace uno?
she said that to keep the relations, like the personal relations in this world are difficult because also they are subject to the different moods and also as a lady don't like to change the energy, like women don't like to change and again, but sometimes because of if you don't see success in one relation, if you start to find faults in one relation, then the only way is best to get free from this relation to start another.
What we give to Krishna,
Que le damos a Krishna
the best thing.
las mejores cosas.
Why we do this?
Porque le hacemos esto
To my Radhika, best thing.
para mi Radhika.
And relation makes you to feel and love.
Y la relación hace que sientes amor.
And to feel and love,
Y para sentirte enamorado,
you want to develop relation.
se debe relacionar, desarrollar
To understand this.
para entender esto.
And success of relation is there when it becomes with the soul to the super soul. This happens to the soul to the Radha. That is my successful relation. Relation becomes success when it becomes from spiritual. That's the highest relation. And when we relish this highest relation, we keep material relation also very balanced. If we have no taste of spiritual relation, material relation is not valuable to us. No value. It's only for the benefit we make the relation. Benefits end, we change that. But when we have a taste of spiritual relation, we don't want to change anything. We want to stay as it is. We tolerate every pain, but we accept everything. That is the divine mercy we feel of relation. Right?
You say that you have more questions?
Yes.
There was another part in this. When we're speaking about that body, this body we have here, the Sadhakya. If I understood right, we should not take that too much in consideration, whatever happens to this body. And whatever is going, whatever, we should concentrate on our constitutional position. And but for example, our Sadhakya has, we are sitting right now here in our Sadhakya, and if I would have now like fever, for example, I could maybe sit not here. I could be here with my heart maybe, or like this, but not with the body. So how can we make a balance? I will not be. I wouldn't go on the side of fanatism. We are not the body and Padid and whatever, and we are not the body. But at the other side is also that we give too much attention to the body. Like anything, a little, whatever happens to the body, we have to take immediately care for it. So, where is that golden middle way? How can we feel that? How can we ourselves?
We cannot deny that we are not. We have no body. Nobody can deny. Nobody can deny that we have no senses. Nobody. Nobody can deny that we have no false ego. No one. Because this is the nature of our condition and marginal. We are conditioned and marginal. But we are trying to develop by the grace of Radhika that any day will come in my life that in all circumstances I will got your mercy that I can be capable to serve you. Although my condition is very conditioned, after inner soul is pure, how to be like a child, to behave with you, to understand you and follow you. After so much difficulty, Manjari and Radhika has also so many difficulties with mother-in-law, sister-in-law, husband, and all circumstances. These all material circumstances. No water facilities, no difficulty, very hot season, rainy season. All difficulties are there. And living in that difficulty, I am so conditioned with all circumstances, but how to go through you, my dear, in your service, and to desire to more and more to develop that. How to do this? How to develop this with all difficulties? That we have to pray and we have to do. And we have to come out from the liberation consciousness, because that is a very heavy thing for the lover to think on liberation. So that is carrying to the mind Raghunath Das Goswami, that very careful. Liberation is also one purusartha is there. This is not a good thing for loving exchange. If somebody want to serve to Radha Dasi and he want to think for liberation, what type of liberation? Then how she can be a Radha Dasi? That's the point. What to liberate? I cannot liberate from any condition. My all difficulties all will be there. But in this difficulty, I can take out some time to meditate for that, think for you, serve to you, and all how to do this. Right. We have to try it.
There's exactly this other point, coming to this, adding to this, like our senses are like a network. You know, we have all the senses, the 5 working senses, the 5 senses inquiring about the knowledge and things like this. We are in this, we are imprisoned in this network, you can say. So, is it the way that we just let go the senses and
senses will be there, ego will be there, but interest has very much desire. Interest and desire is a very important thing. Where is my desire? For my senses is desire. My ego is my desire, or your service is my desire. That is the most important. Or liberation is my desire. So careful, Raghunath Das Goswami said, that never think this desire for liberation is like a prostitute, And other thing is also very careful. Any desire from the service of Radhika is all like a prostitute. Because we have to develop this, like my ego desire, my sense desire, is all like a prostitute to me. Because when you have one desire for service, how the other desire is hurting you, catching you. That is means you have a hiddenly liberation desire is there. You want to be free from that service. You have no honest desire for that. That is the point. It helps. Desire will help us. That time we have to conscious which desire is more important. When difficulty comes, then you check. When you have not a point of decision, how you will check it? When difficult circumstances come, then is a point for your checking. Where his heart is moving, where is the seriousness for me, right? What desire is important for me? Agree? It's a chance. When the time will come to check yourself, you will check yourself. Mercy is there. Your desire is more strong for Radhika service. These are not affecting to you. And when we are weak, it will affect us. Right?
Radhe Radhe Go